Well, one of the first questions I would ask is, what was the date? What was the date when the whistleblower first came to Adam Schiff's staff? I'd just kind of like to know. I think the American people like to know. The guy who started it all, the anonymous whistleblower with no first-hand knowledge, who was biased against the president, who worked with former Vice President Biden, when did he first come to the House Intelligence Committee staff? What was that date? Was it the day after the call? When did it happen? I'd like to know that date. The questions, conversations with the Senate, but the questions will obviously come from the senators. They're the United States Senate. They're the ones who have this responsibility. They'll be the ones posing their questions and submitting them to either the White House counsel, which I assume most of them will go to, but there'll probably be a few questions that go to Adam Schiff and the House managers as well. First, have to start with the idea that the score is 17-0. Adam Schiff got to subpoena all the witnesses in the House. We didn't get to subpoena anyone. White House counsel wasn't allowed to be a part of any of the depositions, any of the hearings, couldn't cross-examine anyone. So the score is 17-0, and now what the Democrats are asking in the Senate is, make it 18-0, bring in John Bolton. Oh, and then next week it'll be, make it 19-0. They'll want someone else, and it will never end for these guys. So I hope it stops, but like I've said all along, if you go down this witness road, you have to go all the way down. And the first witness I would want, if you're going to go down this road, is the whistleblower. The individual who started this whole thing. We have no idea who this individual is, who the people he talked to as the prime sources, because he wasn't on the phone call. He didn't have firsthand knowledge. So that'd be the one I would want to call if, in fact, you go down this road. But I think the senator was right. I don't think they're going to go down this road. I think they know this needs to end, and it's going to end later this week. I think it's ridiculous. I mean, you want to talk about politics and going after someone? How about the fact that this really started not in July of 2019 with the phone call between President Trump and President Zelensky. This started in July of 2016 when, before he was even president, the FBI went to a FISA court, lied to the court 17 times so they could go spy on the Trump campaign. And we know they did all that because Michael Horowitz released a report last month, over 400 pages, that spelled all that out. So politics and going after someone, give me a break. They've been going after this president before he was even elected, and it has been nonstop. Think about the first witness they called. First witness the Democrat Congress called this year. First big announced witness. Michael Cohen, who sits in prison because he came here and he lied 7 times to our committee, is in prison for lying and all kinds of problems. And now, who are they bringing to Capitol Hill today? Lev Parnas? I mean, talk about a circus and politics and going after someone. That's exactly what the Democrats have done. But of course, they want to blame Republicans for that. You got to be kidding me.
I understand.
I think the American people would kind of like to know. Really, Hunter Biden got paid $50,000 to $80,000 a month, had no experience, gets put on this board. I think the American people sort of instinctively see through that. How that plays out politically, I don't know. All I know is that they understood that from right from the start of this. They understood that was something that just didn't pass the smell test. So I think the American people get that instinctively. I think we have another example of hearsay. We have someone telling the New York Times what John Bolton's manuscript supposedly says, and we're supposed to stop the presses. We're supposed to change everything and allow the Democrats to go from a 17-0 witness count to an 18-0 witness count. Again, it's time to end this. It wouldn't change any of the underlying facts. It would not change the 4 core facts, 4 key facts. The transcript shows no quid pro quo. The 2 individuals on the call said no pushing, no pressure, no linkage of an investigation to release of the aid. The Ukrainians did know aid was held at the time of the call. And most importantly, they didn't do anything to get the aid released. They never started an investigation. They never promised to start an investigation. They never announced they were thinking about doing an investigation. They didn't do any of that. And they got the money well before the September 30th end of the fiscal year. So those facts will not change. Democrats can say we want Bolton, we want this witness, we want that witness. We want it to be 40-0. We want it to be 100-0 on the witness count. Nothing will change the underlying facts. And I think the American people understand all that, and I think they want it to end.